Fabian. This is me. This is me. I'm the CMO of BankX. I founded Breakaway USA, which is a media company that's getting me shadow banned every other week, like CK knows. Apparently, they don't like when you say whatever you want to say anymore. We're going to change that.
Free speech.
Yeah. And I rode my bike across the country one time, so that was fun. That was me there. By the way, I just realized that my chain had fallen off here in that picture, but I was done, so I didn't care anymore. But today I want to talk about maximizing your networking. You know, you're all here to network. That's the whole point. And 2/3 of this event is networking. So as soon as we're done talking your ear off, you're going to go back to networking. So it's important to make it the best that you can. I want to talk about my story for a quick second. I usually don't talk about myself, talk about things. But the way that I came to Hollywood, the way that you're seeing me talk to you here, the reason why I'm standing here is because for 5 years I backpacked around the world. India, Afghanistan, Thailand, whatever, you name it, right? One time I was in Nicaragua and I tried to climb a volcano. Didn't work. I got lost from my group. No food or water for 3 days, almost died. It's a long story. But what I did is I was like, I want to write a book about how to travel. And I wrote a book. I'm like, how do I get it edited? Sent an email to the person who wrote How to Write Books for Dummies, which is a book I read. And I'm like, now it's edited, so how do I get it published? I don't know anyone in Hollywood, but I'm going to go to Hollywood. And I had a friend who worked in the nightclubs here. And there's two things I know. It's perseverance and simple math. So what I did is I went out in Hollywood 5 nights a week. And my goal was to get 5 numbers every single night. Because I knew that if I'm trying to network, simple math says that that's 25 numbers a week or 100 numbers a month. Imagine expanding your network 100 people per month. So after we're done yapping your ear off, you have 2 choices. You can be safe and just talk to the people that you came with, the people that you know. Or you can take a chance and talk to someone that you don't know. Now, I don't know if this slide is the next one I want to show you, so I'm going to quickly go over. Okay. Because the one after this one, it's going to be good. So basically, when you network, you do 2 things. Is you increase your brain elasticity, so your ability to learn. And you also meet people. Because what you don't want to have happen is you don't want to always be inundated by your own business and not understand what else is happening. Because if you do that, you become what's known as an idiot savant. And this is actually a term. It's a person who has exceptional aptitude in one field despite having significant impairment in other areas, in intellectual or social functioning. So you don't want to be one of these people because it's not really fun to be around them. I'm trying to, okay. So another thing that people have a hard time networking also is that it's actually really exhausting. It's not easy, right? You're taking in raw data from all these people you don't know, and your brain's trying to categorize it and figure out what exactly is happening. It's a lot of work. It's like a muscle. The more you work it, the stronger it gets. And a lot of people say it's exhausting. Well, let me tell you something. The person who I believe is the best networker in the world, right now, maybe ever, this is the slide I was waiting for.
Hands down.
Is that person right there.
No, best marketing genius on the planet.
Yeah, exactly. Now, regardless of what you think of his politics, this guy knows everyone. This guy was a person who made the UFC a thing. This guy hosted Mike Tyson's fights. This guy had airlines, everything. He's done it, okay? He's 80-something years old. On a daily basis, he's flying across the country, speaking to crowds of 10,000 people. He's campaigning for president. He's indicted 90 times. Right now. 91. If he's 80-something and he can do it, what's your excuse? That you don't have a private jet or something? So let's talk about tricks to maximizing your time. If you're here, all right, we have an hour left after this, the speakers go. So let's talk about how to maximize your time because it's really important. You want to be networking for results, not networking just to network. You want to have a plan and a goal. The goal is results. The plan is networking, right? So it's imperative to do it the best of your ability. And the way you do that is by expanding your knowledge of the person you're talking to from purely transactional to open-ended questions. But I don't know what to talk about. What do I talk about to someone who I don't know anything about? I'm in insurance. They're in consumer packaged goods, right? I'm in real estate. They're in the movie industry. But if you realize business people actually do the exact same thing. The only difference is what you're selling, your product. Because every business has the exact same function. You develop a product, you launch it, you do marketing, you optimize it, and you try to grow. So in reality, you have like 90% in common with everyone who you're going to talk to. It's just that last 10%, and that's what you're focusing on. And that can be hindering your marketing, your networking rather. So there's two types of questions, open-ended and closed-ended. A closed-ended question when you're talking to someone is something that requires specific and often brief answers from a predetermined set of options, which means basically I don't have to think about what I'm talking to you about. I have these muscle memory responses. What do? I do real estate. Oh, how's it going? It's going great, right? My level with you of understanding in a relationship is not going to be very deep. It'll be very superficial. Compared to if I ask you an open-ended question, which prompts individuals to think critically, reflect, and provide detailed responses. An example of that would be, look, you do whatever it is that you do, what's been working for you in this business climate that you think is really good for people to know? Now you have to think. You can't just blurt out like a very easy answer. This is a very different question. Oh, I went, whatever, I went past one. But the other thing I was going to say is just, ask them out to lunch. Trust me, I know you all work behind computers most of the time. You can afford to get the hell out of behind of a computer and go talk to a human being and have lunch with them. It's very easy. But even that can be an issue when you're so busy, right? How do you pick a time? I'm busy, they're busy, I don't want to bother them. Now, typically what happens is you place something that I call a blind bullseye. And it goes like this. Are you free on Wednesday? Oh, sorry, and you're typically texting. I'm busy. Okay, how about Tuesday? Right? This makes no sense. Your job is to be as efficient as possible, so why don't you instead say something like, hey, my free times are Wednesday, Monday, Thursday, between 5 and 10. Do any of those days work for you? Now, if someone comes to you with that proposition, that's a much easier decision to make. Pick a place in the middle. I don't know where you live. I don't know where I live, but I know the places around where I live. So if I'm going to invite you somewhere, it's typically going to be somewhere around Hollywood. And if you live in like Sherman Oaks, what are you going to drive all the way to traffic to see me? No, that's very inconsiderate. So what you can do is just say, I live here. I don't know where you live, but why don't we pick a place in the middle? So now they know where you live, and they know that you're willing to at least meet them halfway, that you're going to have a much better success rate of getting someone to go out and have lunch. By the way, if you guys are dating, this also works, the same thing. So just, that's a free one. So put yourself out there. By the way, all of these slides are going to be available at this QR code. So if you want to get these slides later on, just scan that and they'll be available. So put yourself out there, take a chance. And I want to close with this story. 3 weeks ago, I was in Big Bear, snowboarding. I snowboard almost every weekend. And a friend of mine and I, we went to the supply store, at the resort where they sell gloves and stuff like that. And as I was walking out, one of the workers there looks at me and says, can I ask you a question? I said, sure. He goes, I'm 19. I'm trying to make my way in life. Do you have any advice for a 19-year-old kid who's trying to be successful in business? I said, yeah. I said, do whatever the hell you want. Don't let anyone tell you what to do. So I walk out, right? And I stop. And I go, wow, that was so cool what he just did. I walk back in. I go, hey, man, I have a networking event that's once a month, and I want you to come. I'll give you a free ticket. That guy's here in the crowd right now. Cody, where are you? Cody, stand up. That kid is 19 years old. That kid knows more about business. I had lunch with him today than most 30-year-olds that I know. So if he can do it, and Donald Trump can do it, then you damn well better do it. Thank you, everyone.